Thanks for staying with us. Now, offices around the country are currently sitting at around 50% capacity, with many working from home, while those on the lease struggle to pay rent as many businesses are forced to cut costs. However, choosing to sublet empty office space may enable struggling tenants to kill two birds with one stone. Gillette Corporate Real Estate Associate Director Justin Tom joins us now to share more information on the subletting of office space and how to go about it. Justin, thank you so much for your time. Now, companies the world over have had to shift mindset in the way they do business due to the imposed lockdowns. Now, you suggest that subletting is an option to help business tenants renting space.
Yes, I think it worked. Look, for a long time coming now, we've actually been taking part in the largest work from home experiment ever. We've seen a net uptake of space, especially in the logistics and distribution area. We've seen a lot of our clients actually taking up space in different locations while, especially on the e-commerce side, while they expand their existing facilities. On the commercial office space side, we've obviously seen a decrease in space, and this work from home environment, people like it, but it's not conducive for everyone. So we've seen a lot of our clients actually taking subleases. Remember, if you're taking a new lease in today's market, there's a lot of capital expenditure that needs to go into setting up your offices. Whereas if you're taking a sublease from an existing office space, it's kind of a plug-and-play option. You don't have to put in a lot of money to set up your offices.
Now, what are the chances of tenants getting their own tenants in the current economic climate, where everyone is looking to cut down on costs?
Yeah, look, everyone is cutting down on costs, and looking for that sublease is a viable option. We've just consulted to one of our commercial occupiers that has actually taken up 4 different locations in Johannesburg because they don't want their teams all having all their eggs in one basket, as per se.
Now, many contracts, Justin, aren't flexible and don't allow tenants to make any profit from subletting, especially if they don't own the building itself. What are the legal implications there?
Look, the subleasee is bound by the original lease terms. The benefit of taking up a sublease, you don't have to have that exact same length of lease. It has to coincide with the length of lease, but it can be shortened, giving you more flexibility for when we do return to our new normal, you have a better foresight of what space requirements your company actually needs.
Now, you suggest that there are a couple of steps, to combat that, saying that if the building is not yours, it's vital that you disclose your intent to sublet to your landlord. And you go on to list several of those considerations. What are they?
Well, the lease expiry dates, you need to make sure that you cover for any damages that your subleasee might cause to the building. You need to make sure that the use property rights are actually in place. If you are restacking or relocating, I'd implore you to please get hold of us. It's often the effect that it's actually cheaper to stay where you currently are and take less space than move to a new location. Just watch out as well if the subtenant is in breach of contract. You have to work together with the landlord to make sure that they're put to terms.
Now, you're following some international trends. What are you finding is happening broadly internationally, particularly in the US?
Look, the San Francisco's event reached a new time high with about a 41% in the city offices now standing empty. So this research continues across the continent, is expected to be much more the same on our local shores. We're pretty much tracking with just about everywhere in the world at the moment.
All right. Now, we know that businesses aren't operating at a fraction of resources given the restrictions. How bad is the situation on the ground?
It is rather bad, but we're South Africans and we're resilient. We will get through this. We've seen, as I said earlier on, we've seen a lot of uptake in the industrial and distribution side. We've seen, I think the e-commerce side of stuff is probably going to lead to 3 to 5 years, in advancement. But on the commercial offices side, I think we're only going to get back to normality in 3 to 5 years' time.
Now, as a final question before I let you go, somebody watching you today giving this advice, how do they get the ball rolling with their landlord?
Look, you have to look at your lease terms. Rather be upfront and honest with your landlord. Everyone's on the same page. The landlord needs to pay back their debt to the bank, and At the same time, he needs to keep you as a tenant. So the landlord needs to understand that you also need to, if you need to pay less rent to keep your company afloat, better that than not have an empty building.
All right, Justin, sounding very optimistic there. That's where we have to leave it.